good. Yeah,
Okay, and we're rolling, so I'll do an intro.
for sure.
So, what is up, YouTube world? Mr. Low-Key back. Sorry for the little hiatus, but I need to get more content in here, so there's actually something of value that comes up. And today, I'm joined by a highly esteemed guest, Pedtalks. Please introduce yourself.
What's up, everyone? What's up, YouTube world? Yeah, it's a real pleasure to be here, and yeah, I'm gonna be having a chat with Mr. Low-Key. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be lit. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
most of my channel content is based in Japan. But
Word.
today we're talking about a country in Asia that I lived in before Japan, which is South Korea.
Yeah.
And anyone who's thinking of visiting or living in or just has a general interest in South Korea, this little format, we're going in deep. We're really gonna analyze
sure.
it. And
Yeah.
Pedtalks, I think, is the perfect person to elaborate on some very interesting things. So can you tell me about your relationship with South Korea?
Yeah. Firstly, I'd just like to mention that we've both lived in Asian countries, in South Korea and Mr. Low-Key in Japan for quite a few years. So we'll just be trying to divulge our direct experiences and just give you a bit of a taste of that. And your question again was a bit of my experience in South Korea, right?
What's your relation to South Korea?
That's quite a big question. Let me just start by touching on some of the things I was doing in South Korea, just to give a taste of
anything you
the
want to
type of places I was, what sort of youth cultures I was involved in, those sorts of things. So I started off on teaching in South Korea, and that was pretty dope. That was pretty chill. It was my first time leaving, moving and living in a country on my own, away from my family. And after that, I did my master's, my PhD in South Korea. And at the same time, I was very active as a b-boy, a lot of dancing. I was active on the b-boy scene, and I was doing a lot of acting, modeling, and entertainment work. Yeah.
You went all the way in.
General, yeah. In general, I'd say Korea is one of the most amazing countries I've visited. The first thing that really stands out is how comfortable it is. In terms of transport systems, convenience stores, everything is always close by. It feels like everything is just a small reach away. Yeah. And yeah, it's very safe. Overall, very dope place. Very dope place.
Okay.
How
so
would you? Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Please continue.
How would you describe your experience?
Yeah, I can honestly say I am often asking myself, which country hit me harder, South Korea or Japan? And I'll say they both are incredible places, but in different ways. And it's a topic that you can really discuss in depth to the littlest detail about. South Korea does it this way, Japan does it this way. South Korea sees it this way, Japan sees it this way. And I think we've got now, I think long format sort of podcasts are really popular. So I've got a full list of all the things we can compare. And so far, we'll talk about just method of entry. How did we start off where we were and then head to South Korea? And such a popular way is, as you mentioned, ESL, English as a second language.
Teaching.
And you did it a bit differently to me. You went to a school first to get a TESOL.
Yes. So I got it was the Fitz language school, and they had a whole TESOL certification program, and that took just 1 month. So it was a 1 month kind of intensive program. So we had to come in every day and pretty much learn how to teach from scratch. But it was a very well designed program. It felt like it prepared us for teaching quite well.
How much did that cost?
I don't even remember exactly, but it was, I think, less than 10,000 rand. Yeah.
And it was about a week of intensive classes?
No, a month.
About a month of intensive classes.
Yeah, but just every day from like early morning, maybe like 8 or 9, till 2 or 3 p.m. every day. Yeah. But it was really cool. And yeah,
And
I
it
happened to
prepared
have
you to
some,
teach.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Like it
So
was very practical.
I didn't take that method. I went in
Or,
raw, no
or
training,
direct,
no TESOL.
direct.
I was just applying to websites online,
Yeah.
and I sent
Yeah.
through about 450 applications.
Hey, that's how it is. Like
And I
you have
started
to.
modifying it each little
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
because I was
Yeah.
like, can a brown person even apply to be an English teacher? I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm not qualified.
Yeah.
But I was
Yeah.
I think I'd at the point I was in my life, I was like, it's Korea or bust because I'd
Yeah.
graduated and my
Yeah.
parents are looking at me like, what's the plan? You're just gonna
Yeah.
sit
Yeah.
here and do nothing. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Sit in
no,
the
I have
house.
to get into Korea.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think a month before we met, I believe, what was his name? I think George, no, Ted. Was it Ted? A cyclist.
Ted.
He lived in
Ted. Yes.
Chicago.
Yes. Yes. Hmm.
And
Did we meet
he,
him? We met him in South Africa, right?
yeah, we met him in
Yeah.
Braamfontein.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. I
he
remember.
had just finished a year teaching in South Korea. And he was like that motivation, that extra push I needed to be like, if he
Yeah.
can do it, I have to do it. And I was
Right.
wondering,
Right.
should I go to a kindergarten? Should I go to a high school? And he gave me the answer that I needed. Aim for a high
Yeah.
school as close to Seoul as possible.
Right.
Done. Should I go to
Simple.
private or public? Go public. Cool.
Yeah.
And then I refined
Yeah.
my application. And in your application, for any advice to anyone who wants to apply, don't write I want Seoul, because the recruiters will look at you like you're crazy. Just be willing
Yeah.
to take Gyeonggi-do, which is the province
Guess
just
there's
around
too much
Seoul.
demand for soul.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and you can get in. And
Do you think the actual teachers that do get into soul are like the cream of the crop, like the best qualified teachers, or there's still that element of chance in it?
yeah, and I think now that I'm not involved in English teaching, I can criticize it a bit. But
Mm.
I think everyone has sort of seen that the top picks of teachers,
Mm.
young, cute, blonde,
White. Yep.
yeah, you can come with your
Yeah, pretty
amazing
much.
qualifications,
Yeah.
PhD in education,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
wonder
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
somebody who has no experience earning more than me. And
Yeah.
there is that ceiling that a lot of people face, and
Yeah.
it kind of carries on because a lot of people's aspirations for English teaching are short term.
That is true. Yeah. That is true.
So you can
Yeah.
love it, you can hate it, but it's a
Yeah.
way into the country, and it's
Yeah.
a good
Definitely.
salary.
Yeah.
And without it, I don't think I would have gotten to see South Korea.
Yeah.
Without
Same
even
here.
having
Same
learned the
here.
language, I
Yeah.
very little South Korean.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's a great deal. I mean, like imagine being in your early 20s and you have this opportunity to have a paid flight to visit an Asian country you've never been to before, and your accommodation is covered as part of the package, and you get a comfortable salary to live on. Like that's actually a dream. Like like maybe the teaching might be scary or it might be a new experience, but it's not like an everyday opportunity that one can come by. Yeah.
So you were at a boys only school in
Yeah,
Incheon.
yeah. Yes, yeah.
How was your first week? So the first week you arrived, okay, whew,
Yeah,
finish your test all, you're on the plane, fly over. How was that first
yeah,
week?
yeah. The first week, well, when we first arrived, we stayed in a hotel for like all the teachers together, and we had like some induction programs and stuff. And that was really cool because we're all in the same boat. We're all nervous. We don't know what's gonna happen, which schools we're gonna get. So that was really dope, and met some cool people as well. Well, I'm still friends with until today. And then we moved out to our own apartments, and that was like, okay, now you're on your own in
Oh,
this
wow.
foreign country. Like
You had
it's
a really
just
nice
you.
apartment though. Your apartment had
Yeah,
beds.
yeah. Like looking back, I'm like, man, I should have appreciated it more. Like it was dope. It was dope. It was dope. Yeah. And then, yeah, the first week at the school, overall it was cool. The kids were really excited. They haven't seen many black people, So they were just staring at me, pointing at me, looking, laughing, giggling, lots and lots and lots of that. But overall, it was fun vibes. It was good vibes,
Yours
and I
was
think
a
I was.
rugby speciality school?
Yeah, they had a rugby team that came third in the national championships. So they were a really good team. And I used to teach them on like Fridays. Yeah, I had some pretty funny experiences while
Okay.
teaching them.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. We'll get into
we'll
those
we'll get in there. Yeah, yeah,
soon, soon,
yeah.
soon, soon.
How
Okay.
was how was the first week for you?
So just arriving at the Korean airport was already such a massive culture shock because I I had looked at the Korean writing system a little bit
Yeah,
before coming, but to see it everywhere and in application
yeah,
is
it's
different. And you're hearing
intense. Yeah,
announcements, and on the plane,
yo,
the
yeah.
food is different. You're being offered chopsticks, and you're like, I've seen
It's
chopsticks
like
at an
it's like
Asian
you
restaurant,
it's like
but
you've been thrust into another
yeah,
world. Like wow, it's intense.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um, it was really hectic, and you're like, wow,
yeah,
I'm on a mission. I'm really doing this. I'm going for it.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And I didn't have a phone for I think the first
Mm,
month I was there. So just
mm.
finding my recruiter at the airport was
Uh,
such an interesting experience because I was just
yeah.
walking around, and thank goodness they were also walking around and they were looking for me because I had
Okay,
sent my
and they'd
picture
seen
in an
your picture.
application.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
a lot of people either thought I was military or an
yeah,
English teacher.
yeah.
And
Yeah, I
yeah,
got asked the military thing too.
yeah,
You military?
military,
No, no.
yeah,
Taxi, taxi.
yeah, yeah.
Hey, you,
And
taxi.
it's all good. Like I can understand it now
Yeah,
because it's whereas at the time when certain things happen to you that you don't understand, you can misinterpret it.
yeah,
But if you understand
yeah,
why,
yeah,
the majority of foreign people they meet either military or English teachers or tourists.
yeah, 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 yeah. Like
With
I
no
had to take
eggs.
a taxi. Yeah, I had to take a taxi from the airport to the hotel, and like straight off the bat, I pretty much got shafted. He charged me like 70,001 when it should have been like 30, and I was like, damn, like
Yep.
welcome to the world. Like yeah,
Yeah.
welcome to the world. Like you gotta have your back. Like yeah,
That's such a Korean thing though. Of like you learn to accept a little bit of the shafting, but overall you're still
yeah,
happy. Like give
yeah.
and take, give and take. You take some, but you accept. You're like, eh,
I don't want to
life
don't want to get shafted.
life will pay me back in a different way. You don't have to be butthurt about all these things of,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
man,
you
that guy
can let
took
it
one
go.
cent away from me. If
Yeah,
you're like so tight like this, life's opportunities won't come to you. So you have
that
to
is
take a little
true.
bit
That
of a
is true.
shafting.
That is
Not too
true.
much, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No, just take it and learn from it, right?
Yeah. Next time.
That's the important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like rest in peace, Tom. But
Mm,
Tom, the time I got shafted buying my camera,
mm,
and I told him about it. Tom was like,
mm.
not that bad as shafting. If you had gone to Thailand, you would have been shafted way, way worse. So just take
Mhm.
little shaftings here and there.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
end up missing out on an
Don't
amazing weekend, amazing
for
sunny
real,
day,
yeah.
amazing people, because you're worried
Yeah,
about a little bit of money that was taken
yeah,
from you. So
yeah. You can't dwell on these things.
focus on making more money, more greater things
Mm,
will come. So
mm, mm, mm,
that was also such a humbling experience because
mm,
again, that massive change in lifestyle from being a broke student where every little
mm.
cent you have to guard it. So now you've
Yeah.
got a little bit more, not a lot, a little bit more disposable
Yeah,
income.
you have a salary every month.
Yeah,
You have a few hundred thousands. This is Korean one. Next thing
yeah,
people are gonna think we're talking about hundred thousands of dollars.
yeah. In US dollars,
Yeah,
that amount of money would be about 1,500 or
yeah,
1,800 US dollars. About
yeah,
there,
yeah.
which was
It's just
mind
it's comfortable,
blowing.
bro. At like 21, 22, it's dope.
Suddenly you've got your
Like,
own laptop, your own sneakers, your own gear.
hey, hey, we went kind of wild with the gear though.
Wearing the
We
new
went
season of
wild
Nike.
with the gear.
New. You're going to events, vacation time. Where are you going? Like, The feeling, eh?
Okay. International trips, rocking Air Maxes, gazelles in
My
different
first time, eh?
colorways.
Having my own pair of Air Maxes. First time my feet
Yeah,
were in Adidas. I was like,
yeah.
oh wow, this is what
Like
sneakerheads feel like. Wow.
like before it was like oh, I like this shoe, so I'm gonna buy a pair of this shoe.
Yeah.
And then getting to Korea, it's like, okay, I like this shoe and I have money, so I'm gonna buy it in every colorway,
Yeah.
even the most random colorways. Yeah, good times.
So how was it, like your reception of how you received it, and also how did people receive you when you went to, like, let's say the really popular places, so your Myeongdong, your
Oh,
Gangnam, Seoul
oh,
Station.
yeah,
What was
yeah.
your impression, and how did people perceive you?
I can't remember that well because the first year I was in Incheon,
Hmm.
but I think in general there weren't that many reactions in Seoul. Like people just seemed chill, like just going about their own business.
Hmm.
There was a difference in the vibe of Incheon people and Seoul people. Incheon people seemed a bit more open in a way.
Hmm.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it was. Just a bit more open and free
Okay.
in a certain way. Yeah. But overall, people were chill. I mean, there were some unusual incidents here and there, which I can recall a few. If
For
you'd like to hear
example,
some of those.
we can you can give us one for this episode.
Just like people pointing, staring, or
Okay, the pointing.
like I'll be on the train and someone like positions their phone camera so they're taking a picture, showing
On
like
the
themselves,
escalator.
yeah, themselves with me. It's like, yo, I found a black guy. Oh, let's take a picture.
Or a
That
couple
sort
will
of
be
thing.
walking, and the girl holds on
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, what's she gonna do?
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Yes.
Good times, good times.
Yeah, lots of those, lots of those. Yeah,
But you learn not to be
yeah,
offended. Like the way
yeah, yeah.
I reasoned it is like if I was walking down the street and I saw
Mhm.
a dinosaur, I'll take my phone out.
Yeah.
Frick.
No, but we're not dinosaurs, bro.
Okay, for me it felt like being a D grade celebrity. Like you're not like A list blockbuster,
Yeah.
not like daily soapy, but
Yeah,
D
yeah.
grade celebrity. Like I saw you on the ad for dish soap. It's that guy. It's
Yeah.
that guy.
It's that guy. I'm not gonna talk to him, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
point at him and
But I'm
like tell my
aware he's there.
friends.
I'm aware there's this
Exactly.
energy near me. And
Yeah,
sometimes it's
that's a good
nice. Like,
analogy.
you can get extra rice at a restaurant, or you can get into
Yeah,
the
yeah,
club 50% off for free.
yeah,
Hey, hey,
yeah, yeah.
gotta use that star power, that Weigukin star power.
The Wegu power.
Yeah, man. Gotta use it. Gotta use it.
I had one experience which was on that sort of celebrity type experience,
Please share.
but it was for Halloween. Like I was doing a Halloween job. I was helping promote like a certain drink at night,
Mm,
and they insisted that I was topless or my
mm,
top was like partly open,
mm.
and I
And you
was
were
pretty
always in
much
shape. You were always Mr. Six Pack. Some of us have been
yeah.
beer belly.
Thank
Don't
God, it's
even
God's
drink, but I've
blessing.
got a beer
It's
belly.
not my work.
Mm.
So we have to like walk around the streets of Itaewon and just promote this drink. And I think because it was Halloween, people were already like very excitable, more friendly, more chatty, more open.
Halloween pops. In South Korea and
And
Japan,
just,
Halloween
bro,
pops.
it's crazy, crazy, crazy. I've never had an experience like that. Like, we could even do a whole episode on Halloween in
I
Korea.
think we might have to. Yeah. Episode
Yeah,
2 will
yeah,
have to be the Halloween episode.
yeah.
And it's Halloween currently.
And it's Halloween, yeah, for real, yeah. So you had to walk around the streets, and pretty much it was just girls like huddling up, like groups of like 20, 30 girls trying to take pictures with me,
In cat
and like,
costumes and
bro, in
spandex.
cat costumes, stockings, whatever,
Mm.
and just like touching me, bro, like without permission, no consent, bro, just grabbing whatever they wanted. I was like,
For you, man. For you.
did I ask for this?
Wow.
Do I deserve this harassment? Yeah, that's the opposite side of the spectrum. Yeah. it can be tough being a foreigner sometimes.
Wow. So what were some of your reasons for going to
South Korea?
So we've discussed the application process, but what were some of your reasons? Why specifically South Korea?
For me, the main reason was the dance scene, the dance culture, the b-boys. And their whole dance scene is so intense. I think it's part of their culture to just be so dedicated to whatever they do. So if Korean people are interested in something, they're going to take it as far as they can. And they tend to be very technical in their approach to things. So like looking at the technical level of Korean dancing, Korean b-boying, that was always something so impressive and something so attractive. So most of my time in South Korea was in studios, training, going to battles, going to events. That was the main thing for me. Yeah. What about you?
Dance, yeah.
100%.
So, we were in the same dance crew, Rock Solid B-Boys. And for the longest time, the South Korean dance content was exploding online. And I had to see this place. I had to understand how they were able to perform at such a high level. And the English teaching was just a way to get in. And at that point in my life, I had the massive need to travel and expand my world. Because everything was sort of just, I'm going to study hard so I can enjoy other things in life. And I was tossed up between should I go to Japan or South Korea? But every day it became clearer and clearer that I need to go to South Korea first. Japan was always like, yeah, okay, one day when I get the chance, I'll go there too. But South Korea spoke so loudly to me that this is wasn't there wasn't there for the party life. It just happened to be there while I was there.
It just happened to be there.
It just happened to be there.
I realized something kind of interesting earlier this year when I was training like more intensively every day, like running every day, training, conditioning, like an athlete, like proper training. I realized like so much of the time we spent in South Korea, well, speaking for myself, like, the Korean party scene is lit. It's dope. Like every Friday, Saturday, we'd be excited to party. And just from the amount of partying I was doing, I realized that I couldn't have reached my full potential as a dancer. I was thinking of myself as a dancer athlete. I couldn't have reached my full potential with the amount of partying I was doing.
But we were also doing it in a different sort of way. So again, we were always, highly observant. And even when we were out there till 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., we were dancing. We were top rocking the whole night, looking for other breakers. Hey, he's a breaker, battle him.
Yes. But then sleep deprivation, fatigue, not enough recovery time. Eating junk food from the convenience stores. Eating like sweet custard pastries, tteokbokki, those fried chicken sticks. Like,
everything's about balance. Even in the last Dance Jordan documentary, Jordan played golf sometimes he played basketball. That's that balance.
That is true, That is true.
I'm just making excuses. No.
That is true.
Okay. So, but since we are talking about, very exciting locations. Which locations are your, maybe not even top 5, but 5 super memorable locations in South Korea that, if somebody was there for a day, which 5 places would you like? You have to see this place, you have to see that place.
Depends on the age of the person, but if it's like a relatively young person, you're like early 20s, early 30s, I'd say just check out the nightlife. You get a good feel of like what the youth culture is like. Hongdae definitely. Like go party in Hongdae. The park, if it's still there, I don't know what's going on with it.
They got rid of the park?
I'm not sure. There was a time when there was some reconstruction things going on.
That park was everything.
As
soon as you get out the Hongdae station,
start at the park.
Always see somebody at the park. Hey.
Yep. It's always a lot of people.
Hongdae Park?
So Hongdae Park, Itaewon, see somewhere there.
Tell us about
Just
Itaewon. What is Itaewon? What is this
what
place?
is Itaewon? Itaewon is the most foreigner-friendly. Well, it used to be the most foreigner-friendly area in South Korea. There was even like a sort of stigma vibe towards Itaewon from Korean people. Like, oh, you go to Itaewon. Oh, you're one of those people. Oh, you like foreigners. Oh, you're living dangerously. Yeah, that's the Korean vibe towards Itaewon. But recently, Itaewon has become more and more Korean friendly and less foreigner friendly. So it's changed quite a bit. So you see actually less and less foreigners
Japan
in
has one
Itaewon.
too. So Japan is Roppongi.
Yeah, I want to go there.
Roppongi, Itaewon. Roppongi, Itaewon. The two places.
Give me your informed comparison.
So when I was in Itaewon, people used to tell me stories of Roppongi. Like, no, Roppongi is this other place. It's more hectic. As someone who's been in both places, they are the same. Some people overhype things. People always overhype the other locations. But in my opinion, everything you said about Itaewon, Roppongi is the same. Because the designated foreigner district where most of the foreign people go, a lot of foreign restaurants, a lot of upmarket stuff as well. So in Itaewon, there was that too. Super exclusive apartments. Hamilton Hotel,
Yeah.
Turkish restaurants and African restaurants, and all in one place.
Yeah.
It's a lot of foreign culture in one place. I think that.
All the foreign
There's
food
also,
markets.
yeah, a lot of people with a stigma against it. No, it's this, no, it's that. There's a high school in Itaewon. What some girls high school?
Yeah.
A place.
It's not a big deal. Yeah. Exactly.
The train ride there is really fun though. You can see all the people about to come off. You know where they're going.
You know what they're about to do. Yeah. Yeah, I remember those.
Put on a t-shirt. I'll just wear it.
Yeah. Those Friday, Saturday train rides where you're just seeing people like really dressed up on the trains.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I know where you're going tonight. I know what's your mission. Right.
What's the UK's version of Itaewon?
I've mostly been to Shoreditch High Street area.
Okay.
It might not even be the version of Itaewon, but it has that sort of youthful vibe. Maybe it's actually more like Hongdae. But at the same time, it's quite free. Like anything goes. Yeah. And of course, it's the UK. It's very multicultural. There's tourists, there's locals, but you can't tell who's who. Yeah. Yeah.
SA, maybe Rivonia. Rivonia would be Itaewon.
Really? I don't think so. Braamfontein? Nah.
Braamfontein is like you're more artsy. Rivonia is where you get your more random things happening. Where you've got like Lollipop Lounge and the Grand.
Okay. I haven't been to Rivonia enough. I actually don't know SA lifestyle like that.
Good you didn't, eh? I had a phase where I did my research into that area.
Yeah.
Very, very unnecessary. Like, stay focused on your life, get your training, don't leak all your skills.
Now we need to experience things to know why we don't need those things.
There's some things which you can learn from a YouTube video. You don't have to have been there.
That is true. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so those were two. Hongdae, Itaewon.
Yeah. I like the Han River. Okay. Just the Han River side. It's
This is a good station to view it.
Yoinaru.
They did the fireworks there.
Yeah.
Was that Yoido?
Yes. That's Yoido, right. But they're very close by, like walking distance. And even when there's nothing happening, it's just nice and chill if you want to get away from the hustle and bustle from the city. Just have some quiet. Even on evenings, in the evening, it's quite chill too. And they have the flower festival, the Botkot, the cherry blossoms, like once a year. And yeah, that's really pretty. Yeah.
Is there a Korean word for the cherry blossom sort of?
Botkot.
Put. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's hard to pronounce.
Yeah.
Botko.
In Japanese, it's hanami. So flower
Hanami.
viewing. Hanami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds nice.
Big deal.
Like
Right?
it could
It's
be
a
it could be a
big
name.
deal.
Is that a name sometimes? Like Hanami.
I can get hana. Some people are called hana, flower.
Okay.
But me is to see. So hanami, flower
Okay.
viewing.
I see. Word.
So that's I think
Nice.
four places
One more.
that really left an impact on you, where you were like, man, this place hit me hard.
I saw some really beautiful places in Pyeongchang where they had the Winter Olympics.
Oh, it's nice.
This is more just like nature,
Yeah.
like beaches, forests, mountains, and there's just so many amazing places out there that aren't even popular,
Yeah.
that people wouldn't even think about or wouldn't know.
Mm.
But there's a lot of really amazing like natural places to see in Pyeongchang.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd recommend that too. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for those solid recommendations. For someone who's put in the years,
For sure.
those are the places that really continued to
Mm-hmm.
keep you happy. So
Yeah.
the next question that had been on my mind for a while is, with all the ups and downs of in culture shock, how to be happy in Korea? What would you advise to someone? Like, how can you be happy in Korea?
That's a hard question. Yeah, that's quite a hard question to answer. How I'd honestly answer it though, this applies for anywhere you are in the world, not only in Korea. Just try to know yourself, like have like a solid sense of self-awareness, um, and don't look for a definition of yourself from the world. Like you need to know yourself first. And like for example, if you're going to Korea as a black person, maybe it's more chill these days. We all have different experiences. You could have very offensive, very disrespectful experiences where people might question your worth, people might just be very rude to you, might just try and put you down. But if you know yourself, if you're very self-aware, you know you can just brush it aside.
Yeah.
So I think that applies to anyone, anywhere in the world. Like just know yourself and know what are your values, what's important to you. Yeah.
That's solid.
What about
Yeah.
you? What would you say?
As I was thinking of asking it, and as I was writing it, I was also thinking along very similar lines of you're going to see parts of yourself that you didn't know were there, and maybe certain things you might have been hurting about back home that you may have been ignoring. Now you have to, when you have time alone by yourself, and you have to sit and deal with it. So it became very, very therapeutic after a while when you like faced it. And when you first face it, it's not fun. But once you get through it and you come out stronger and you realize it, that's something so nice that I like about travel. You can deal with a lot of internal sort of trauma that you didn't even know you had. And so to be happy in Korea, you have to focus on the things, the bare essentials that make you happy. So maybe you have an apartment that's not up to standard, or you stay far away from some place, or whatever it may be. But you have to focus on the good things that you have. That you're employed. Maybe you won't know the language, but be thankful for the things that you do know. And you develop a very strong sense of identity, which maybe back home you didn't have to do. Because back home you take it for granted that you are what you are. But in Korea, you have to rep what you are. I think what made me happy in Korea was that I got to get rid of a lot of BS I was dealing with back home and just focus on where am I going with my dance, where am I going with my career, where am I going with my life, growing up, going into manhood and all that sort of thing. Get time to really delve into that and and answer questions you may have always wondered, like, oh snap, If I didn't spend all my time studying, if I spent all my time dancing, how good could I get as a dancer? You'll answer that very well in South Korea. Even during the job, like during English teaching, you have a lot of downtime to really like research and delve into a particular topic, so you can really become an expert on some things that back home you maybe never would have gotten a chance. And
that's very true.
as a travel location, a lot of like global experts on certain things pass through like South Korea. There's always like a massive global festival or something that they're doing, and you go there and you'll meet the industry's top at what they're doing. And you can't use that crutch anymore. Oh, back home I never had this chance. Okay, here's the chance, do it. Oh, I never got to, YouTubers aren't big in SA. Oh, I never got. They're here now. Work with them. Do something.
That's very true.
And I think meeting Dizzy, like, then I didn't have any more excuses with breaking. Dizzy there, multiple Red Bull BC1 winners are in a particular practice spot. Okay, what's your excuse? Why don't you know
like
foundation?
you want inspiration? Here's inspiration.
Fastest internet in the world. What's your excuse? Oh, no, I never had the internet. I couldn't download all the things I wanted to. And then you learn the reason why you are where you are in your life is because of your own individual effort. Well, a lot of it. Most of it. Sure, like there are limitations, but a lot of it is also what are you doing on your daily, day-to-day. So having to look and analyze that and, come face to face with my own shortcomings and my own weaknesses. And then once you analyze and accept them, then you can be happy. Then you know who you truly are.
And there's a sense of freedom that comes from that also. I think like if like before going out to South Korea, sometimes it feels like what we could do or who we are is being restrained by maybe family members, maybe by parents' opinions. But then going out to South Korea on your own, it's like you have this time, you're in a foreign country, nobody knows you. So now you can actually see for yourself, who are you really as a person? What are you going to do? And I think for a lot of young people, that's like a very important like learning process, a very important learning stage. Because it's easy to define who you are just based on who you're surrounded by. But if you break away from all that, who are you going to be?
Big time. Big time. Did you feel this is time effect? I felt this massive time effect where it felt like 5 years passed in 1 year. Just the stacking of experiences.
So intense.
Meeting so many people, this person, that person, hanging out, and you're getting so much done. That
was the fastest year of my life.
Wow. That was pretty wild. And then on the next big topic, we also have to discuss the food. Which is an episode on its own. So how hard did the food hit you from when you first tried it to 6 months in to like a year in? How did the food affect you?
My first experience it was bland. It was like, yo, this food is dry. Even on the plane, they had like kimchi and radishes and rice. It was like, yo, these things, they don't even have salt. Like, what's going on? It's kind of dry. And then during the whole during the induction program, they kept giving us like rice, kimchi, vegetables, all the banchan, all the side dishes. And I was like, everything just tastes dry. So I used to mix everything together. Like I'll throw all the vegetables in the rice, and all the Korean staff, they'd just be looking at me like I'm crazy or like, what am I doing? Like, no, this is kimchi. You do that with kimchi like this. You need to do this. Like, ne, yes, ne. Yeah, but eventually I got used to it, and then later on I found like all the stuff that I really like, and what I like is either sweet stuff, spicy stuff, or sweet and spicy at the same time. Very simple.
Do you have a favorite
food? There's a few. I like tteokbokki, like a good tteokbokki, and there's hemu tteokbokki, which is
spicy sticky rice. Okay.
What else? Bokkeumbap fried rice.
Okay.
Seo bokkeumbap.
So kimchi fried. rice.
Yeah, yeah,
Kimchi is the
yeah,
rice fried up, nice bold.
yeah. It has to be spicy though. Yeah. What else? What else? Nakchitoppa. This one isn't that well known.
What is
It's
that?
like the squid fried rice.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Mm.
And a simple one, Jin Ramyun, that most people don't know, and it's sold in a lot of foreign countries as well.
Mm. That's
Just
spicy.
the noodles. Yeah, I
Spicy
need that
roll.
spice.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Yeah, I actually
And
miss that.
as someone who's not a pork eater, how was that struggle?
It's actually quite difficult because a lot of the restaurants they cook their food in the same pots as which they cook all the pork-based stuff.
Mm.
So if you're very like if that's an issue for you, you might struggle to find decent places to eat.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, there's always bibimbap, which is just mixed rice and vegetables, and that's very healthy. It has protein, it has vegetables, a bit of carbs. So that was one of my favorites. Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
kimbap, which kind of looks like a sushi roll, but it's Korean,
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah,
often also has pork in it.
yeah. That is true. Yeah. But yeah, there's ways to go about it. And also these days, you have more and more vegetarian, vegan people, and more businesses want to cater to that. So there's a lot of growth in that domain as well, especially in areas like Haebangchon, which is near Itaewon, and Gyeongnidan, which is also near Itaewon. There's a lot of trendy, like new little places that keep popping up. Yeah, like more healthy, unique sort of food.
How are some of the coffee shops? Because I know South Korea and coffee are very good friends.
Mm-hmm. There's so many, so many. There were a few I really liked. It's just very beautiful interiors, kind of like moody lighting.
So cute with the stickers on the wall, and then
You get Hello Kitty cafes.
yeah,
You get dog cafes, cat cafes.
I feel like you're
You
in a
get
lo-fi hip hop video. Just, oh,
yeah,
it's a vibe,
yeah,
eh?
yeah,
I feel like you should
It's
just
a
be there
vibe.
studying something.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. There's always something to see.
And I think that's part of the true South Korean aesthetic, especially when you get your rice. It comes in that metal capsule, the metal tray, metal
Oh
chopsticks.
yes,
Ugh,
and it's like steaming on the cover there, and you're like, okay, it's hot.
that's when it hit me that
It's
I'm in
nice.
South Korea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think South Korean presentation is, I've never seen anything like it. Even in Japan, there's a Japanese presentation, but the South Korean luxury is its
Really,
own thing.
really. Oh.
Yeah, even when you go into like a certain restaurant and there's the heated floor, so even though you have to sit, cross-legged, but like
Yeah, it was nice. Those heated
nice
floors
wooden
was so
table,
nice, yo.
everyone eats from the same plate. Japan is a bit more, everyone keeps to themselves when you have your own plate.
Yeah.
But in South Korea, you've got the big soup,
Mm.
everyone eats together, and I think the sense of community, it's a different. I've never, it's different. It left an impression on me. I'll give it that. Like I've seen a sense of community in other places, even in African culture. We can all eat from the same plate, but the way the South Koreans do it is different.
Yeah, they do get very close and very comfortable and very open with each other. Especially when they have like hueshiks are like company dinners, and those usually involve drinking, and it's part of the culture. Like when you get to know people, you drink with them, and then you know each other, and then you're friends. So that's when you see people really open up, and they get very passionate about the food, the drinks, the conversations, talking about life. Yeah.
So similar to Japan.
Or,
neither of us drink, but we survived, eh?
yeah.
No soju, no makgeolli, no none of that.
Drink cider chuseo.
There were some good ones, eh? But Chilsing cider.
Chilsing cider. It's like Sprite.
Yeah. Then there was that amazing cafe. I think it was it in Hongdae? Cafe 9 gram? Was it Cafe 7 gram? And they had a really nice drink there. What was it called? Oh my goodness. It was called lemonade something. Grape aid? Was it grape aid or memories, huh? Anyway, it was a Cafe 7 gram. If I'm walking there, it'll come back to mind.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the food. So the food ties into the whole aesthetic. So Korea is a mega city. What were some things? And you're also an artist, so you're very big into your art, your music. Could you describe that Korean aesthetic with the neon lights and the city and the way people? What were some things that stood out about the Korean aesthetic?
I think when I first got out there, just the lights in front of like shops, restaurants, businesses. It's literally like what we see in animes.
Yeah.
Like just lights on top of lights on top of lights on top of lights. And back then, this was in 2011. That was close to when they just passed some regulations which which reduced the amount of lighting businesses can have.
Really?
Because before they didn't have like much restrictions on there. So businesses would go overboard with these massive LED lights and all these blinking, shining, flashing stuff. And if you compare in Seoul to like some parts of Incheon, you'd see the difference straight away. A lot of the lighting in Seoul is much smaller and more like small, neat, compact, to the point, right? But a lot of the places in Incheon, especially before, it's big, flashy lights that you see even from like 500 meters away. So it was really intense. It was like we stepped into an anime.
Oh man, whoa. Shinjuku in Japan is like that. It's just lights, and you feel like you're in what's the word I'm looking for? A slot machine. Everything's spinning, music is playing. It's a vibe. Okay. And
so
the subway and just the whole public transit system. Tell me about that.
I loved it. I loved it.
Best in the world.
It's very efficient. Everything is always on time. Most of the trains are relatively new. I don't know what more to say.
Get yourself a T-Money card and pimp it.
Yeah, I had lots of funny experiences on the trains, but the trains themselves were magnificent. Yeah.
If I had to compare it to the Japanese one, so I know that the original system, the Japanese system was based off of was the French system, and then the Korean system is based off of the Japanese system. It is incremental improvements each time. So the Korean one, after using the train, you can swipe onto a bus, travel for a bit, and it's all one. You don't pay a transfer charge. In Japan, there are different train companies, so you have to pay a transfer charge if you go from one company to another.
I get the impression it's overall more expensive than Japan.
Yeah, it is. Japan, you pay, so it has to be worth it if you're going somewhere. And usually, you hack a way around it. Because that's another thing about life. People will hype things up to you and tell you, oh, no, it's harder here. No, you're just going to get tougher when you go there. You'll find a way to get around it. So I'm positive either way. There's no reason to complain about the Japanese system being more expensive because I had a conversation with a friend of mine who I studied Japanese with, and she lived in Hokkaido, which is the northern part of Japan where it snows. Every morning she had to wake up at 5 a.m. and shovel snow before she could drive anywhere.
Wow.
So there's no reason to complain about paying 1 cent more to take a train. Be happy with what you got.
Yeah, it's all about perspective. If we think we're struggling, there's always someone who has it harder.
Relative. Someone else who doesn't even have a train, who's fighting to get, and they're happier than you. So what is your excuse?
Facts, for real.
But the Korean transit system is amazing. And what else do they have? Their bullet train that's sold to Busan.
We took that to, what was that jam?
Busan City Breakers, was it?
Yes, also.
Was it DCB? No. Some legendary jam, and we met Chowdrop.
I think it was the bullet train, right?
Yeah, KTX.
Chowdrop was such a cool kid.
Still is.
Cool kid.
Still is, eh? He's become a bad man these days. Chest tattoos and all, but what a guy.
I should hit him up and see how he's doing.
What a pimp.
Bro. Yeah.
And Busan, I think I could have lived a year in Busan just to get,
Busan seems so nice.
just to understand it. It was on a different vibe.
Yeah, it felt so nice. Like the energy frequency.
Beach life.
Yeah, there was like a calmness to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also there's like there's the Busan, I think Gyeongsang-do accent. And to me, it sounds gangster. Like I used to watch a lot of Korean gangster movies, and a lot of the gangsters would be from those areas, and they just have a way of talking, like Wani, like there's a type of intonation.
Oh man,
that it just sounds so dope.
You should do a video on that. You should teach us, man.
I don't think I can do a good impression of it.
Good enough.
But I can try. I'll try.
I can speak Osaka Ben. Like that's like Western Japanese accent. So good, man.
For real.
Like, have you heard that quote? There are people who are half as talented as you, making way more money, and it's like because you think, no, I'm not good enough. I can't do it.
Yep.
That's a short, easy one. Okay, next topic: accommodation in Korea. Where are the places to stay and why?
Accommodation in Korea. This is actually a really good topic, and I think that's one of the difficult aspects of living in Korea, especially in Seoul. If you'd like to rent a place, most places work with the deposit system. So before you even just get to paying your rent, you have to pay a deposit, and the cheapest you find is probably like going towards $2,000 deposit.
Oh my goodness!
And the deposit is something you pay, which basically allows the landlord to just hold onto your money, just as a form of assurance while you're staying at the property. And when you leave, you can get the money back, maybe minus some small deduction, like 3% or something. So the minimum is like maybe $2,000, and that's going to be for a very like below average place. Might be kind of rough, might be kind of dingy. You can get maybe a decent place with a 5,000 deposit. 10,000, you'd find something nice, something neat. Yeah. So a lot of people live in areas like Haebangchon, I think Bogwangdong, which are near Itaewon, and there's a lot of older properties which people are already renting out, and the deposit has been covered already. So there's a higher chance of finding rooms for rent without having to worry about the whole deposit. And then there's also Goshi ones. Goshi ones are just really tiny spaces. There's no deposit. You just have this tiny, maybe like 2 meter by 2 meter or even less space. Yeah, it's just a bed, a tiny space to put your stuff, and that's it. And a shared shower, shared bathroom. From like the stories I've heard, it's not a very pleasant place to be in. Like, it sounds like a depressing place to be in.
Survival mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Grind it out.
Yeah, and that's gonna cost you maybe like 200,000 won. Yeah. What about
DVD
Japan?
bangs and PC bangs? Not a place you can stay.
You can't stay. Yeah.
Unless you hardcore.
You can stay for a few hours, but they're gonna kick you out. Like
that rough night.
Need to watch a movie.
You've been partying till 5 a.m. You're like, hey, I'm gonna crash it out at the PC bang till the train comes.
That is
the keyboard, head down.
PC bang, yeah.
Grind it out.
Yeah. The DVD bangs are dope though, man. It's so dope.
How long are you allowed to stay in here, DVD bang?
If you're watching a movie, then it's gonna be like 2 hours, maximum 2 hours, 30 minutes.
Play that movie. I'm watching it 2 times. That's 4 hours.
Yeah. But for people who don't know, the usual vibe, a lot of people go to DVD bands. It's young people who probably live with their parents, they kind of girl, they go on a date. There's nowhere to go for some privacy, so a lot of people go to DVD bands.
Oh, it's me who doesn't want to clean his apartment after.
Yeah.
That DVD bang energy. Okay.
It's dope. It's dope. Yeah.
So as someone who is also involved in the fashion industry, please tell us about Korean fashion.
Korean fashion. I'm not sure if I know enough about it to.
So it gets deep.
Actually, no, no. I've experienced quite a bit of
Mm.
the actual fashion industry, but it's hard for me to put a specific grasp on like a Korean
Okay.
style,
Okay.
Korean
Can I
approach
specify
to.
the question a bit more? We'll talk about
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
urban street fashion, hip hop
Mm.
influenced street fashion. What is popping? What's going on?
Oh.
What is it like?
Okay. Well, looking back on the times I was there,
Mm.
I saw a lot of sort of goth inspired looks that
Mm.
was becoming like trendy, like
Mm.
goth emo sort of vibes. A lot more people getting into tattoos.
Getting
Um,
popular now?
yeah, definitely.
I thought they're closing down a lot of the tattoo shops.
Mm. Well, there's always like illegal stuff still.
It's always a way.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I was seeing a lot of that. One of the bigger designers that I know, um, the brand is called Greedyless. And like to me, she stands out as like a Korean designer that has a very unique style, and she's into like very colorful patterns. It's quite unique. It's hard to describe, but if you see it, it's very
Wow.
bright, very colorful, very detailed, a lot of patterns, and that's a bit more like the high-end fashion sort of vibe and the sort of stuff you see Korean celebrities wearing. I think overall Korean fashion is very broad, and Korean people tends to go very hardcore into whatever they're into.
Yeah.
So the fashion you see in b-boys and dancers would be one fashion.
Mm.
If you take like regular working class people, the type of fashion style you'd see in them would also be very, very different. So it's quite broad. It really varies. Yeah. But if Korean people go for a certain look, they take that look like to the T, to the T,
Mm.
to the T. Hmm.
I
Some
think,
people like these sort of like hipster,
yeah.
like old school indie rock sort of
Mm.
looks. I've been seeing quite a bit of that as well. Yeah.
I think it
And more and
was,
more guys with
yeah. Oh,
yeah,
no,
you
no, please
say
continue. More and more guys.
huh. More and more guys with like longer hair and
Mm.
mustaches, and, like leather jackets.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
seeing those types of
There
vibes.
was like no facial hair in 2011. That's coming.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. Mm. I think
yeah.
it was South Korea that got me into North Face. I didn't know how deep North
Oh,
Face
yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah,
Brands in South
yeah.
Korea is next level. And something amazing that I also saw in South Korea, South Korean people know how to copy. If
Mm-hmm.
the Converse store is selling a style of shoe,
Mm-hmm.
the Pony store is also selling it. ABC Mart is also selling
Yeah,
it. Everything looks the same.
pretty much. Yeah,
Till a
yeah,
look gets perfected, it just becomes the benchmark, the standard.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
it changed my mind about a lot of things because I always thought that you always had to be as unique as possible, but nah, you
Yeah,
don't. You
yeah,
pay
yeah.
to be on the wave and perfect the wave. It makes it accessible
And
and makes things
yeah,
easier to get.
not to hate on Korean people or Korean culture in any way, but in general, Korean society tends to sort of ride and flow with waves, especially with fashion, with music, with youth culture, with hip
Dance,
hop.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's a beautiful thing because even now, the trends we're seeing in hip hop now, there was a point,
Mm,
like in American hip hop, every
mm,
artist was sounding the same. Every artist was flowing
mm,
the same, talking about the same things.
mm,
And I don't want to
mm,
hate on it because it's such a limiting belief to think that you can't do something. Do whatever you feel.
mm,
And
mm,
if more and more people are on the wave becomes
mm.
stronger and it becomes perfected. Gets
Exactly.
goes through every
Yeah,
iteration till it's
yeah, yeah.
at its top point. And
Mm,
you know, even the biggest artists we see now, they also got influenced by other people. There would be no Travis
mm.
Scott without ASAP Rocky. So it's like, and ASAP Rocky also probably got it from somebody else. So
Did ASAP Rocky influence Travis though? He'd probably
you
be
can
angry. Like
see it in
they,
so many things.
nah, they just have the same hairstyle.
There
I
was
don't think so
even
much.
I'm not
Nah.
going to say there was beef, but a lot of people were calling it out that, hey, wait a minute, Travis Scott used to write his name with dollar signs. ASAP used to have ASAP with dollar signs. The
Uh,
way the songs were sounding, Space Ghost Perp used to push it a
yeah,
certain way. Then Travis, so like, And no hate to it. That's what made it this amazing vibe
yeah.
that it is. More, so many heads
Yeah,
have made it a certain way.
yeah. I see them very distinct, like very
Now they're
distinctive, like
distinct. Now
separate.
they're distinct. But when
Uh,
they started though, nah,
mm,
could be the influence. It could be like, and it's a good thing. Hey, if I could get on that wave, I'd be on it too.
mm.
Not saying it in a negative way at all. This is the truth.
ASAP low key.
Yeah, man, get on, get. That's exactly how the game is played, and it's such a
Yeah.
limiting belief. Because what I found in SA, we had this amazing limiting. We were holding ourselves up to beyond global standards, but it's like, no, play the game the way everyone else is playing. Copy
Mm,
first, understand how it works, and then start doing your own.
mm,
If you're trying to reinvent the wheel each time, you're only gonna go so far.
yeah. I think in some cases it works, but a lot of the time you can gain a lot of ground quickly
Mm.
by following what's been done. 100%, 100%.
But maybe it's just me speaking on it as a businessman. Like
Yeah.
in business, it's very okay to copy. Second mover, it's okay.
Yep.
You don't have to
It's
be
okay. It's okay.
first mover. Second mover, it's fine. Fine. You can
Yeah.
recreate, make a synthetic
Yeah.
version. It's all good.
Yeah.
That said, they are a lot of counterfeit items in South Korea.
Mhm.
I have no hate to it. Hustle more. Make it accessible to the public.
Mhm.
All good with that.
Yeah.
Moving on though, I'm
Yes.
happy
Yes.
we covered a lot of very good ground.
Mm.
Music. So you're a musician.
Yes, sir.
Tell me
Yeah.
about music in South Korea.
Music in South Korea. I've mostly been exposed to the hip hop scene. Um,
Did the K-pop
even
bug
though
bite you?
no, I was never into into K-pop. It's
Got me
too
for a little bit, eh?
bright and
There's a song or
shiny.
two,
Yeah,
like the video aesthetic,
yeah,
clean.
yeah. Yeah, I'm not even gonna front. The only reason I was looking at K-pop back then is because the girls were cute.
Everything is
Damn.
cute. Everything. Even
Mm.
the objects, the cars, everything. The floor. The floor is clean.
Yeah.
It's a cute floor. Everything is close.
Yeah. So yeah, I mostly followed some of the hip hop stuff. It felt like a lot of the artists were just trying to be on similar vibes like American artists.
Yep.
Of course, there are a lot of amazing, exceptionally talented artists.
I'm sure even
Like
indie artists, you
Jay.
just don't see the indie artists.
True. That is very true. Yeah. Like Jay Park, for example. Like he's very dope. He does this thing.
Solid dude, eh? He came to our event,
Yeah.
so hey, nothing but love for him.
Yeah, his producer as well, Cha Cha. Yeah, the type of Korean music that I liked though was some of the stuff from Cohort. So Keith A, Occasion, or everyone knows the song Ijima.
Yeah.
Underwater Sky. Sky. Yeah. Like that sort of vibe. Yeah, even though it's inspired by a lot of American artists, I personally can feel the authenticity in his energy. And yeah, I like that.
Hey, South African music
like
is
that
the
sort of
same, eh?
energy.
We don't have to fight that we have an American influence. African American culture is awesome.
It's okay, yeah.
Just acknowledge. Don't appropriate, acknowledge.
The thing is, even though we're working with the influence, something unique comes out of the influence. Yeah, but then it's kind of it does look kind of weird if someone adopts a whole culture and a whole vibe and a whole image, and suddenly is presenting themselves with this new persona. That does come across and feel kind of weird.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But to each his own, like everyone's trying to find themselves and do their thing. So yeah, respect. Yeah, I came across a really dope group recently on Spotify. It's called Shadow Project, but it's not even hip hop. It's I don't even know what the genre is. There's some piano melodies going on, a bit of guitar going on. It's very laid back, very chill. And it's just singing. Yeah, I don't know what genre it is, but
Shadow
yeah,
Project.
that connects to. That connects to your point earlier
Mm.
that there's a lot of amazing indie artists that we just might not know about.
True.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about
Thank
Japan music scene? What's it saying?
that's a good one. So what I find very interesting about Japan is when you use the general term Japanese culture, it's for little pockets of different things. So there's West Japan, East, North, South, which are sort of doing their own thing. So I'll go specifically into Japanese hip hop and its sort of influences. So Japanese hip hop is a niche within greater Japanese music. The mainstream is like EDM, J-pop, then rock, and then there's hip hop. So within like the hip hop where I used to interact, you go to very specific cafes or concerts or clubs with a specific artist, and it very similar to South African music. It went through different eras and generations. There are some in the 90s who were popping, but now they don't make music anymore. And there are some who in the 2000s were popping, touring, Teriyaki Boys, they were going sort of quieting down. There's some who love the West Coast sounds, G-Funk, Low Riders, they love that. The Latino side, they love that. There are others who like the more reggaeton. There are those, and they've got their markets. African American hip hop is still the king, though. Purest, hardest hitting, and when an African American artist comes through, it's a situation. Their lines,
things get sold out.
Things are been sold out. It's the fans of it, and those are people who are not getting out of it. They come there pants sagging, doesn't speak a word of English, but loves the artist. That's just hip hop. Hip hop is the vibe. They're super dedicated people. The American military, when they come through as well, it's usually a hip hop event. The hip hop clubs in Japan, there's also different markets. The more upmarket ones, that's where the rich kids go to play. And those tickets are like crazy expensive, maybe $40 entrance. Those places in Shibuya that are like the mega places. Then you get your like hole in the wall bars with or ramen restaurant where the dude loves like nujabes. You go there, vibing. So I think there's a vibe for everyone. There's a pocket for everyone. You don't have to try everything. You have to find what you like and go with that. That's how I really found my like niche in Japan. You have to find the artists that you like. You don't have to like everything. Just a little one or two pieces. So I found the one or two Japanese artists who I vibe with. Join their SoundCloud, you go to their concert, you get a picture with them. The variety is immense. I'll give them that. The catalog is immense. There's the most abstract artist where you're just like, what? I can't believe this person makes music from like old pots and pans and he raps to it. Like, that's the vibe. I actually found a South Korean artist in Japan, and he used to collect old cassettes of vintage music, and he's got like I don't know what machine he used, like a tape deck or something, and he mixes it. And it's really distorted, and that's his whole vibe. So extreme like hobbyist, I would say.
It feels like there's just so much unique stuff in Japan.
I think you find people who've really taken artistic freedom to its limits. If I can even say it's not about the money. It's purely about the person loving the process of what they're doing.
Just expressing something. Expression.
Which for me was incredible because I thought the whole point of being a hip hop artist was brag as much as you can, make as much money. But then you'll find guys who just truly love what they're doing. They love their community. And they don't have aspirations of being multi-platinum superstars. You meet an artist who just loves his art. they feel so whole and complete. I was just like, oh wow, I
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah,
you could
yeah.
do that. Then you find the
And
guy
then
is working
like,
at McDonald's after his concert. Yeah, please.
yeah,
But
I mean, as
content.
long as
But he's
he's
content. Yeah.
happy, yeah, that's the important thing. Like that's what he wants to do. That's dope.
So from there, I'll segue. Maybe I'll save some topics for next time, but we'll do the last
Okay.
topic. What are
Yeah.
how has South Korea influenced your aspirations for how
Yeah.
you want to work globally or how you want to design your lifestyle going forward after South
That's a really good question.
Korea? And we can link it to,
I think, yeah.
I was just going to say, we can link it to the things we just discussed. So how do you want to travel, the food you want to
Okay.
eat, the accommodation you
Okay.
want to
Okay.
live in, the
Yeah.
jobs
Yeah.
you want to do. We can break
Yeah.
it into little things.
Yeah. That's a very good question, and I don't think I have actually I don't think I actually have clear answers for a lot of those things. I'd say the biggest takeaway from Korea for me was just getting the opportunity to know myself
Mm.
without anybody telling me who I am, without anybody defining me and telling me what's expected of me. It gave me a chance for me just to look at myself and see what do I expect of myself. And like I'm a very creative person, so I think wherever I go in the future, like doing my creative work will probably be the main focus. Yeah. And I've come to realize, like, yes, it's important where I am, but ultimately it's what I'm doing that is the most important factor wherever I go. Yeah. I don't think that touches enough on Korea.
I think it does though, because of all the things we discussed previously,
Yeah,
and also from you applying to it and the type of things you did in South Korea, trying doing new
yeah,
things, personal growth, and
yeah, yeah,
the things that really sparked an interest in South Korea. Like
yeah.
I think it all ties in, and it's a question you almost answer every single day.
Yeah,
Why? What am I going to do today, and how is it getting me closer to getting
yeah,
to the place I want to be?
yeah, yeah, yeah. What about for you? With
Definitely, it made me want sort of independence, and someone
yeah,
who really influenced that a lot was Eric,
mm,
and him going from living in Japan to living in South Korea to being a digital nomad. And when I
yes,
met
yes,
up
yes.
with him, and just how he designed his lifestyle
Mm,
to give him the things that he wanted to do,
yeah, and
in
I
return
just
to the
sort
places that he liked. Yeah.
yeah, just to throw something in. Sorry to interrupt. He really worked hard for it. Like a lot of the times we were out partying.
Mm,
Like there was a time when he was staying at my place for maybe like a weekend,
mm,
and he'd never like go out with us. He was always at the house working on his web design, computer programming stuff, like every single evening, every night. So probably for a few years, that's all he was doing. He invested in it, he put the time into it, and it paid off. Like, yeah, that's inspiring to see. Like just being systematic about something and
big time.
sticking to it. Yeah.
Big time. Yeah. Yeah. So I think I really
Mhm.
want to copy that energy. I don't have to be unique and design my whole life, reinvent the wheel, but
Yeah,
really copy that energy and be like, yeah, I want to do the same. I want to get my
yeah,
income sources sorted and be like, I have to own
yeah, yeah,
Airbnbs, one in South Korea, one in Japan, travel
yeah,
between both places. That would be a nice
yeah,
ride.
yeah, 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 definitely,
And I
definitely.
saw other people who are living the type of lifestyle that I
Mm,
was like, hey, I wouldn't mind a piece of that. And I saw ones who are living the
mm.
lifestyle where I'm like, I don't want any of that. Avoid, 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 avoid.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I saw
yeah,
a lot of people I could
yeah. That's
copy from.
definitely the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely the dream. Yeah, I came across some YouTube videos maybe like 1 or 2 months ago.
Mm.
This guy was like, "Oh, how I built this multi-million-dollar business, and I'm the most woke millionaire on YouTube." Blah 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 blah. And he kind of does it as a joke, but
Mm.
he's kind of serious at the same time. And like it's inspiring to see just with dedication and consistency, working on something every day, like over time, it adds up. And there's so many avenues, there's so many ways that we can offer services, build businesses, or find ways to provide value to the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's so many opportunities. So, yeah.
Okay, so I think we got some pretty solid content.
Excellent.
I think I'll end it here.
For sure.
But we can continue this conversation after. I'm just gonna close.
Okay.